I mean, people are going to start catching on. Is he going to? I think he's going to be accepting the Salesman of the Year award. I think, Jesus Christ. How is he going to? Where does he have time, Kurt? I mean, Raytheon Employee of the Month and Vogue Fashion Spread President Voldemort Selenskyj is going to be speaking. How does he have time? What with all the award show speeches and the market stock bells he has to ring, and boy, and then plus he's running a war.
Was he at the Grammys or something?
Yeah. So, Ukraine President Zelensky will address U.S. defense contractors later this month when he headlines the annual Fuck Up the World for Fun conference and exhibition hosted by the National Defense Industrial Association. That's the NDIA. Selenskyi is scheduled to speak at the event September 21st. According to the program for the event available on NDIA's website, Oleksiy Reznikov, Ukraine's Minister of Defense, is also scheduled to speak that day. No kidding. News of the appearances was first reported by Reuters, which noted that the officials will speak via video link. Zelensky is expected to appeal for more weapons for his country during his speech, the outlet noted. Wow. I hope Vogue does a spread of the surface-to-air javelin missiles. Maybe dress them up in a tight T-shirt and a nice gown.
Why? Like, they took care of the weapons we sent them. Hunter Biden takes better care of his laptops.
That's right. The U.S. has committed $15.2 billion in security assistance to Ukraine since the beginning of the Biden administration, including $14.5 billion since Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th. Now, why do they keep quoting this smaller number?
Because a lot of it is quote-unquote humanitarian aid or governmental assistance. This is the military aid.
Okay. On Thursday, the U.S. unveiled a $675 million weapons package to Ukraine, including additional high mobility. Man, could you imagine? You know what? Maybe some of the homeless people in this country should threaten to invade Ukraine, and maybe we'd spend some money on them. So they're going to be high-speed anti-radiation missiles and more than 5,000 anti-armor systems, among other equipment. Ukraine war, how weapons makers are profiting from the conflict. You think? You think they are? What a shocker. I wonder how they are.
How do they make money?
How could they possibly make money?
I always think of them like porn, where I'm like, how do you guys make money? Because I've never paid for porn in the last 25 years. How do weapons manufacturers do it?
How do they make money, the porn industry? U.S. defense contractors are expected to be the biggest beneficiaries. Really? You think? Wow. Hey, if they can make a few bucks doing some good in the world. Isn't that all right? It's a big deal. Washington is sending 6,500 Javelin anti-tank missile systems, which are made by Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. The cost of each missile is about $78,000.
Jesus Christ. It's like they're shooting high-end electric vehicles
They're shooting Teslas at people. They're shooting Teslas.
And the reusable launcher is that's how much a Tesla battery costs.
And the reusable launcher is another $100,000. Ukraine will receive more of the systems from France and Estonia, with another 200 coming from UK. I can't wait to see those fucking missiles on the cover of Vogue. Or maybe GQ.
Yeah.
The U.S. is also donating counter-artillery radar systems made by the same companies, along with American defense giant Northrop Grumman. Oh, boy. By donating, U.S. is also donating. They mean buying with your tax dollars that they aren't going to use to help you. That's what the donating means. You know, the money that should go to help Americans, we're not going to do that. We're going to donate that money.
We made a donation in your name.
In your name. Another boon for Raytheon will come from U.S. decision to send 1,400 Stinger anti-aircraft missile launchers. The company has already been awarded $625 million contract to replenish the stocks. Germany is giving Ukraine 500 of the systems, and more are coming from Denmark, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, and the Netherlands. Wow. More good news for Lockheed Martin came from the U.S. plan to give Ukraine 4 M142 high-mobility artillery rocket systems. Those are called HIMARS. The company also produces the long-range M270 rocket launchers being sent by the UK. Man, the good news just keeps pouring in. Ukraine is receiving 50 billion rounds of ammunition from the United States, which is likely to benefit Olin, the U.S. Army's largest small arms ammunition supplier. You think we're gonna buy 50 billion of the things you guys make? You think that's gonna help you?
Likely.
Maybe.
It's likely to benefit.
It's likely. I don't know. We might have to. These fucking pricks will probably unionize and then want more money. Jesus. Since the invasion, at least 15 European countries have announced plans for increasing defense spending. According to the International Institute for Strategic Studies, the additional commitments are worth at least $200 billion. Wow. Weapons companies were already receiving a massive amount of money from the U.S. government, some $768 billion in 2021, before the war in Ukraine began. In May, the United States Congress approved a $40 billion spending package for the Ukraine war, with a big chunk going to arms companies. In order to keep the money flowing, these weapons makers spent $2.5 billion on lobbying over the last 20 years, according to numbers gathered by Brown University's Cost and War Project. Indeed, the numbers of military lobbyists over the past 5 years has outnumbered the number of members in Congress. They're making it sound like it somehow corrupts our system utterly and murders millions around the world, rather than what it really does. It teaches young girls about careers in STEM. Instead of weapons manufacturers, I call them STEM jobs for girls of future providers. It is possibly the oldest, you know this, you know that. War is a racket. It is possibly the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is the only one international in scope. It is the only one in which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. A racket is best described, I believe, as something that is not what it seems to be to the majority of people. Only a small inside group knows what it's really about, like every war. It is conducted for the benefit of the very few at the expense of the very many. That's exactly what's happening. Out of war, a few people make huge fortunes. That's exactly why we have the wars we have today. And because of our system of government, and our elections are financed by those people who make war. And that's that. Jackson, what do you want to say about this Zelensky giving a speech and being the number one salesperson for arms industry?
Well, they're not trying to hide it anymore. I'll say that. But what's happening is, this everything is planned accordingly, right? EU leaders met with Zelensky just a week and a half ago and told him basically that they need to see something from the Ukrainian military that's going to merit sending more artillery prior to this big defense contractor company meeting. They did that in Kharkov. Now they're going to be able to wave that around before all the arms industry companies. And they're going to send tons more arms to Ukraine, billions worth more arms to Ukraine at a time when we don't have clean drinking water in Jackson, Mississippi, and this is, the number one domestic news story. It's absolutely insane.
And all this is dragging out the war and getting more people killed so that more people can make huge fortunes. That's all this is. And no matter what you think, you're wrong. This isn't about Putin being a gangster.
Is that
Oh, you hear people say, "Oh, that Putin, he's a gangster."
Is he?
Really? Let's line up his kill list.
Don't you, people who say blue no matter who are calling someone a gangster?
A gangster. Joe Biden. The reason why half black and brown people in America are incarcerated is because of Joe Biden. But Putin's the gangster. Joe Biden dropped more bombs than George Bush, but Putin's the gangster. Okay. They're all gangsters. Name me a head of a country that isn't a gangster. Okay. Okay. Just like when I asked Ron Paul, who I admire very much and appreciate for his anti-war stances and sticking his chin out for that. I asked him, hey, can you name a time when the capitalists took over an economy and they didn't immediately poison the water and screw the workers? He couldn't think of one.